Hey there everyone. In this episode I'm going to show you 3 different loop knots that I came up with. I believe I came up with. I've been scouring the Ashley Book of Knots for anything similar and I've yet to find anything. If you know that this exists somewhere else as a real knot that predates today, then let me know in the comments and I will redact whichever one is not original, and I will call it whatever it's supposed to be called. But here we go. The first one I'm going to show you, all of these knots are going to be named after my girlfriend, and I know that sounds super cheesy, but guess what? If you want to spice up your knot tying life, I can't think of a better way to do it. So here we go. First one technically would be called a double fisherman's bend loop, but I'm calling it the Melanie Loop. Now, here's how you tie that. First, you start with a double fisherman. So wrap around the fingers. I have a video on this if you want more clarity on how to tie a double fisherman. So here's the double fisherman. Oops. And you leave it nice and open, because next you're going to take the end, stick it through. Once you've done that, you can now tighten the double fisherman. Now, it should be noted before I continue that all of these knots, which are using a double fisherman, could also be tied with a triple fisherman. To make it even more secure. So now that you have this loop here, which is basically a double overhand slip knot, you now tie another double fisherman on the standing end, thus creating a bend, a double fisherman's bend. So you got these 2 double overhands, and now they come together to create a double fisherman. So that's why I'm calling this, well, that's why it could be called the double fisherman's bend loop, but I think the Melanie loop is much better. So look at that. That's a pretty, as far as knots go, or loops go, excuse me, that is pretty darn secure. I would trust that as my buddy, well, he's not my buddy, but the guy that works on the How Not To channel, as he would say, I would whip on that. Super good enough. So the next one is technically called a double overhand, double loop, and double overhand on the bite, aka the Melanie Double Loop. So alright. So here's that. Give myself a little more slack. I'm going to tie that double overhand again to start out with. That's probably a little too much slack. Tie that double overhand. Round 2. Okay. So we have the double overhand, and now the next step is to take a bite and pass it. So I've got this bite here, and I'm passing it through the double overhand. And now I'm going to take the end and also pass it through, being careful to go above the loop. So now I have something that looks like this. 2 loops. And at this point, I'm going to make sure that I'm tightening this first double overhand. And next, I'm going to make sure the standing end is on top of the loop here and go over both to create another double overhand. All right, and then tie that nice and tight. And we can now take out the slack from that loop there. And as you can see, because of the double fisherman bend that I created with that loop and the standing end, these 2 loops here are not going anywhere. This is a pretty dope double loop knot, if I say so myself. Okay. Just when you thought it couldn't get any cooler, there's more. So that was the Melanie Double Loop. And now, for your viewing pleasure, we have what would technically be called a double fisherman's triple loop double overhand. You know what? I didn't finish that one, but you can decide for yourself after you see it. But the name that I'm giving it is the Melanie Triple Loop. So here we go. Start once again with the double overhand. And now that you've tied that, you, just like the last one, you bring a bite through the double overhand. Okay. And at this point, wait, what just happened here? Hold on. Yeah, I did that right. I'm sorry. Put the bite through the double overhand. And now at this point, you bring the tail here also through. So you form 2 loops down here, then 1 loop up here, and then kind of even them out. Okay. Perfect. So now that you've done that, you're going to want to tighten that original double overhand. And then bring this loop over, just out of the way, bring this over like this. So now I have 3 loops, and all I have to do to make this secure is tie another double overhand. So take all that out, and look at that. Three loops. So I'm calling this the Melanie Triple Loop. And what's great about this is if you don't need that third loop anymore, you can take this and start drawing some of the slack through, and just before you get to the end here, you want to bring the loop over the stopper knot. Actually, I suggest making a twist like that. Bring it over the stopper knot. And just like that, you have 2 loops, 2 secure loops. So, yeah. Anyways, that is my creations. Just so you know, I'm a little wary about this last setup here. It's possible that this bite might be able to feed through. I haven't see, there you go. It fed through. So don't do that last part. But definitely do everything before it because it's totally secure. That I had a feeling it wouldn't be secure, and I actually demonstrated it live. So that means I can A, make mistakes, and also show that I know I made mistakes like a boss on live, not so television, but YouTube. Alright, so thanks for watching. This has just been a little thing that I wanted to do, that I was just playing around, and I'm excited about knots. So if you are too, then subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, consider hitting like. Thanks so much. Thanks for watching. Bye.